Newcastle United are one of England's most iconic football clubs, boasting one of the best and most intimidating stadiums in the country. They used to be European regulars in the late 1990s and early 2000s. However, their European appearances have been far and few between since then. Their fans' hopes of a return to European football took a major boost when they were bought over by a wealthy Saudi Arabian consortium in October 2021. The takeover supposedly turned them into the richest club in the world overnight and had similarities with Manchester City's takeover. This had Newcastle fans dreaming of achieving the same success that City have had over the past decade or so. Newcastle fans wouldn't have to wait long to see some success on the pitch, with Eddie Howe leading them to a fourth-place finish in the 2022-23 season. That saw them achieve qualification for the Champions League for the first time since 2002. With the massive investment in their squad, an intimidating stadium, and passionate fan base to rival any in Europe, is it possible that Newcastle United might have a chance of winning or going far in the Champions League on their return to the competition? European history. Newcastle first played in European competition in the 1968-69 season, where they appeared in the Intercities Fairs Cup, whatever that was, a competition that they managed to win. Along the way, they beat Feyenoord, Sporting Lisbon and Glasgow Rangers, among others. They made several appearances in European competition over the following decades, mainly in the UEFA Cup, Europe's second-tier competition. Their most notable achievement was reaching the quarter-finals in the 1996-97 season, when they lost out to AS Monaco. Champions League debut. Newcastle's first appearance in the Champions League happened in the 1997-98 season. They managed to win the playoff game against Zagreb of Croatia, allowing them to progress to the group stages, where they were drawn in a tough group containing Barcelona, PSV and Dynamo Kiev. They finished the group in third place, which meant they were eliminated from the Champions League. However, they did manage to achieve a famous win over the mighty Barcelona, who they beat 3-2 at home thanks to an outstanding hat-trick from Faustino Asprilla. Newcastle would have to wait a few more years to experience Champions League football again, when they would return to the competition in the 2002-03 season. This time they would perform better than during their debut campaign in 1997. They again had a tough group comprising of Juventus, Kiev and Feyenoord. They won and lost a game to all three of their rivals. However, they managed to scrape through in second place. The Champions League format was a bit different back in 2002, with progression to a second group stage instead of the knockout rounds that we see today. Newcastle performed well again, with notable victories over Bayer Leverkusen, but would ultimately exit the competition after finishing behind Barcelona and Inter Milan. Long-awaited return finally over. Newcastle's Champions League appearance in the 2002-03 season would end up being their last for quite some time. They would fall victim to rival Premier League teams like Chelsea and Man City, who were bought by wealthy owners and started dominating the league, and in turn securing the Champions League spots, along with more established teams like Manchester United and Arsenal. Over the past couple of decades, Newcastle experienced a relatively poor period, often finishing around mid-table or the bottom half, apart from a couple of more successful seasons. As mentioned, this has now changed thanks to the investment from Saudi Arabia, and Newcastle make their long-awaited return to Champions League football in the 2023-24 season. With their squad being the best for many years, can they have a good run in the Champions League and even do the unthinkable and win the competition? Rating Newcastle's chances. It will be difficult considering the calibre of teams in the Champions League. They've also been drawn in a very tough group alongside PSG, Milan and Borussia Dortmund. It is no doubt a tough group, however they will feel they can do some damage in it, particularly in the home games where you expect St James's Park to have a hostile environment for any visiting team. You only need to look at Manchester City's recent European record to tell that it won't be easy for Newcastle. City took many years to succeed in Europe, even when they were dominating the English Premier League, so you would expect Newcastle to follow a similar pattern. They've not had a good start to the season this year, having lost 3 games in a row against close rivals City, Liverpool and Brighton. These are the type of teams they're going to face in the Champions League, so they will need to improve their performance if they're going to have any success in this season's Champions League.